All right, so this video you're about to watch is actually a welcome flow training from our private Klaviyo school group. So if you do enjoy this video and you want to see more modules that go a little bit more in depth than your typical YouTube video, then definitely click the link below. You can join our Klaviyo school group for free. Otherwise, enjoy this video.
All right, here we are talking about the welcome series flow. Now, this is probably going to be the longest video out of the whole entire course because this is by far the most important area of your email marketing channel. Now, if I could talk about all day, I would, because I love the welcome series flow. It is so powerful for nurturing your customers, and it is the key at turning non-purchases into one-time buyers, and there's so much benefit of perfecting this welcome series flow. Now, you know I talk about the high leverage tasks and focusing on the high leverage tasks within your Klaviyo account, and this is one of those tasks. Ideally, it's probably the most important task out of any other task. So make sure you watch this video in its entirety because I'm going to give away our entire secrets in how to build a world-class welcome series flow for your brand and how to continually optimize it on months on end so you end up with the most perfect welcome series that you could possibly build. So my welcome flow philosophy, like I said, and like I'll say again, this is your most important flow. So make sure you take the time to map out the customer journey, their objections, their pain points, and the content your shoppers need to see to become a customer inside of this flow. You should also be fine-tuning this flow weekly. It can take months and months to perfect your welcome flow. And honestly, it's never perfect because there's always things you can do to optimize it and update it as time goes on. Most of your attention should go into perfecting this flow, the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your testing inside of your account should be done in your welcome flow because the most traffic go through here and no one becomes a customer unless they go through this welcome flow or they purchase right away, which kind of doesn't really happen. It's happening less and less. So that's why this welcome flow is so important. And throughout this flow, I want you to remember that trust plus desire equals action. So keep this as the North Star when you're building out your welcome flow. And remember that building trust and creating desire is what's going to cause the action of your customers rather than just having empty content that doesn't really have meaning behind it. Make sure the content has trust or desire or both when you are creating the content in order to drive action and conversion of these customers. All right, so let's go a little bit deeper into the benefits of a welcome flow. So it's the key to lowering your customer acquisition costs. So the welcome flow will help you convert more of the existing traffic that's already inside of your funnel, which means it's directly lowering that CAC. So it's absolutely crucial that you know what to send these subscribers and the overall strategy behind the flow. Now, let's talk about some welcome flow mistakes, and I want you to avoid these mistakes. So make sure you watch this before you go and build out that flow. The first mistake I see brands make is that they hard sell their new subscribers. So picture this. Have you ever walked into a store and as soon as you look at an item, the assistant starts being really pushy and trying to sell you whatever you're looking at, even though you're just browsing? Well, this can exactly be the same as hard selling to your new subscribers in your welcome flow. Like a store, you have to warm them up first, provide them with value, build their trust, and clarify any objections they may have in this flow. Now, you should always give them the option to buy and display your welcome offer throughout your flow because some people will still be ready to buy right away, but 80% of people won't be ready to buy. So every email can't just be pushing that discount heavily and so firmly and repeatedly. You have to clarify objections, build trust, give them value, give them a reason to actually be on the list because they probably signed up because they want to receive valuable content and insight about your products. So you can't just harp on and only push the discount in this welcome flow. Yes, the discount should be represented and the option should be there in every single email, but it shouldn't be the only thing inside of this welcome flow because, like I said, 10% of these subscribers are only going to be ready to buy, and you're leaving 80% of people who need clarification, who need to build trust, who need value, who need information. You're leaving them behind by only pushing the offer and getting them to buy. A lack of effort is another thing I see in a lot of brands that I audit. So whilst having a poor welcome flow is better than nothing, the difference between a poor welcome flow and a great one is 10 times the sales. So many brands just throw together a couple of brand pictures, write a couple sentences about their brand history. They don't even think about the customer journey and the best way to nurture this cold traffic into subscribers. So this is going to result in them losing thousands in revenue every single month, and I see it time and time again. Another thing is a bad first impression. So this first welcome email in the flow sets the tone for the relationship with your subscriber. Now let's imagine you're a shopper and you've signed up to 2 brands email lists selling the same products, and you're deciding which brand you should go with. When you open brand A's welcome email, you think, okay, these guys look professional, their emails are very branded, and they look like a big and legit company. So this is an example of a brand with, a professional welcome email. And then you open brand B's email, this one here, and you go, okay, they've put very little effort into the email. There's design errors, it lacks professionalism, and that causes you to question if these guys are actually legit and a reputable company. So this is going to drop that trust level that we talk about. We need to increase that trust level. So instantly the options or the odds of shopping with brand A has instantly risen, and it's likely that brand B will never get the shopper's business. Here's an example of 2 designs from the same brand. So this is their old welcome email, and this is one that we build out for them. So you can see the difference in professionalism and the trust here. If you look at that, it kind of looks a little bit spammy, right? It's very, not professionally built out. Whereas this one here, you see that, you go, okay, these guys are legit. You can see their products, they're front and center. This looks like a company that I want to purchase from. Whereas this one here, it's like, okay, what am I actually getting? If the quality of their emails are like this, what's the quality of their products going to be like, right? So that's just one example of how a bad first impression can cause you to lose a customer. Another mistake we see is brands have welcome flows that are only 2 to 3 emails long, way too short. It's just not enough time to nurture your subscribers into buyers. Sometimes it can take weeks for people to trust you, so you need to be there throughout the entire way. So our recommendation, you should have a minimum of 5 welcome emails at least. That's the bare minimum. We like to have 8, but at least 5. Okay, so you can see this brand here, they have 3 welcome emails across a couple of days. It's just not enough time and not enough content to get a lot of people to purchase. Yeah, you might get the 10% of people who are almost there already, but what about the 90% that need more nurturing? You're missing out on those sales. Another thing we see is generic copy. So there's no better way to cool off your audience than basic AI generated filler copy that's only there to take up space. So I want you to look at these 2 examples and notice the difference in how you feel when you read both of these emails. So let's look at this brand here, and if we zoom in, just go, Welcome to the My Block Skin family. We are thrilled to have you on board and excited to embark on a skincare journey together. Our mission is to provide you with high quality SPF skincare products that not only protect your skin, but also nourish it, ensuring a healthy and radiant complexion. To express our gratitude for joining us, we would like you to offer an exclusive discount of 10% off your first order. And scrolling down here, you can see, I can't be bothered reading that honestly. Like, if I was a subscriber reading that, I probably would read the first sentence and then just click off. Like, it doesn't really capture attention. It doesn't tell you about the brand. It doesn't give you a tone. It doesn't make you feel a part of the community. It's just very AI generated filler copy that's just there to take up space. Whereas you click on this brand here and you go, okay, let's have a look. Headline, feel great from the inside out. Welcome to the fam. Your guts will high five you for this one. Now pick your kombucha and use code you got this for 20% off your first order. Now that is a pretty good welcome, right? So if I click that, I'm like, that's an amazing welcome. I feel part of a brand. There's a nice brand image here. I feel part of this brand. I understand what they're about and sort of their playful, fun tone, something you want to be a part of. Scroll down, so good your taste buds won't believe it. Wow, they're really like punchy and, they kind of a little bit edgy here, and I like it, compared to the other brand where, you're not getting any, sort of insight about who they are. It just feels like, another brand out there just shouting into the void, not really resonating with their customers. So I can guarantee this welcome email would by far out convert compared to this one here. So the importance of copy in your welcome flow plays a big part in conversion. Another thing we see here is emails aren't skimmable. So emails with loads of copy, small text, and clunky design will get clicked off. Your email needs to be easy on the eye and very, very skimmable. So people should be able to skim through your email within 3 to 5 seconds and understand the contents right away. Two examples here. This one here, you can see it's hard to read and you can't understand the contents just by skim reading it. You can see very tiny copy, lots of copy in a small section here makes it very hard to read. If I'm reading through that, very likely I'm not going to really understand the content of this email. In comparison, you look at this email here, very skimmable, big headlines, infographics here explaining the content. I can skim that and get a really good understanding of what this brand's about and what that product's about. Therefore, I'm much likely to head over to the site as compared to this one here. So keep in mind that your emails need to be skimmable. Another thing here is call to actions that aren't clear. That's another mistake we see. So you could create the most perfect email, but if your call to actions aren't big, concise, and clear, no one will convert. So brands that have too many call to actions or call to actions that aren't big or clear, they miss out on thousands of clicks and conversions every single month. So this email here, it's a nice email, right? But that call to action is very down the bottom and it's small. There's no button above the fold, so if they click on the email they have to scroll. Whereas you look at this email here, they've got a big call to action right in that first fold. The customer doesn't have to scroll, and then they got another call to action here that's nice and big as well. So I can guarantee this click rate is going to be much higher just by the button placement and the button size and the overall strategy of their call to actions. Okay, now let's talk about the very first step you should make for creating a killer welcome flow. And that is knowing your audience, right? So it sounds simple, but it's true. You need to take the time to map out your customer journey and really understand the stage of conversion cycle your customers go through. You need to understand their thought processes before buying, what objections they have, why they should choose you against competitors. You should think, do they care about pretty email design, or they just want to know the features and benefits of your products? Are they likely to read long paragraphs of copy, or will they just skim through your emails? Sometimes there's certain brands that need to give and educate their customers a lot about their brand. So therefore you'd have longer pieces of copy here rather than, just short and sharp emails. So having this deep understanding of your customers will allow you to include content in your welcome flow that your subscribers need to see to convert. Don't miss this step. What I recommend, deep dive into your reviews. Look at why people are buying. Look at what they say about your products. Look about bad reviews as well. Why didn't they like your product? And then you can use these reviews to really build out your welcome flow and see what type of pain points that your customers have, what the benefits that they like about your products. Also look at your competitors' reviews as well, because this is going to give you a really good indication of what your competitors' customers like about their products and what they don't like about their products, and you can use that information to position yourself as the solution to whatever problems that the competitors have. Now let's talk about the 12 characteristics of a great welcome flow. So number one, the flow is long. So having a long welcome flow is going to be key to converting more of your subscribers. By lengthening the flow, you're nurturing all the other people who aren't ready to buy within the first 2 to 3 days. So this means your chances of converting them down the track will increase. You'll also build more trust with every value building email you send out. Number two is great storytelling. So storytelling is one of the best ways to engage your subscribers and develop your brand identity. So brands that do this well will create bonds with their subscribers, resulting in trust and preference over other competitors. Here's a great example of a brand using storytelling in their welcome email. So if I zoom in here, you'll be able to read through this. You can see this brand here, this just screams, community feel, small brand, large community. You feel like part of a family when you read this email, so you can take the time to read through here. Really amazing email done by Monkpack. So make sure you're using storytelling. If you have a cool brand story, leverage that in your emails, because people like to see that. They don't want to feel like they're buying from a big corporate brand. They want to feel that home feeling and the feeling that your brand is, close to them and you can connect with them easily. Differentiate your brand. So your welcome flow is the place where you should differentiate yourself from competitors. So include content that proves why you're the best option on the market and highlight your unique selling points. You can see here infographics, us versus them, or why choose us, are great ways to do that. Clarify misconceptions. So you should clarify information about your product. So shipping, refund policies, and other frequently asked questions throughout your welcome flow. One of the biggest reasons people don't buy is because of uncertainties about their order. So a great welcome flow uses frequently asked questions sections to clarify any misconceptions shoppers may have. This example here is like fact or fiction. So they're pretty much just debunking a myth. So talking about the truth about natural deodorant, people have misconceptions about natural deodorant. Does it work? Why is it better than normal deodorant? Are there actual benefits? So knowing what the common myths are about your products and your industry is a great way to actually repurpose in your welcome flow, and you can actually debunk those myths. You can clarify those misconceptions and separate yourself from competitors with these types of emails. Also building trust and authority. So like I mentioned, trust and desire create action. So a great welcome flow is one that uses content to build trust and authority throughout. So you should be showing reviews, media channels you're featured in, what influencers or celebrities have said, articles written by doctors, psychologists, or other high authority figures. All these things build trust and establish your brand as the authority in the niche. So make sure you're selecting the best reviews that represent pain points or benefits about your products. You can see great reviews done here and used very nicely throughout this flow. Next is UGC. So this is a great way to include trust. So showing your products in use and the result it has on people, using GIFs to make these product pieces come to life in your emails is also great. So you can see here a video that went viral for this brand. They're repurposing that in their welcome flow. So 4.9 million views. That boosts authority, boosts trust. They can watch the viral video and see for themselves. This one here, just showing photos that their customers sent in, tagging them is a great way as well. And then skincare brand here, using UGC GIF is another great way to repurpose that information and build trust and show the products in use. Stating the brand vision and developing identity. So again, this links back to desire and trust. It's important you're sharing your brand vision, your company's passion, or the people who make your company the best in the space. So a brand that has a strong identity and mission will gain loyalty and advocates like no other. Think of Tesla, think of Apple. They have a strong vision and identity, and there's a reason why people only buy with Apple. They would never buy with another brand. It's because of authority and the status they get from buying with Apple or Tesla. So display this identity and mission throughout your welcome flow. So this company, Rise, they do a really good job at showing about us, who they are, what they stand for. And you can see we're two ex-coffee lovers and are passionate about mission to find better health through a better morning ritual. That's their identity, that's their mission, and people can buy into that and then they join that mission. So if you can find out what your mission is and really pinpoint that in your welcome flow, people are much more likely to actually buy into that mission, and they'll buy it because they want to be part of that community, because they think the same as you, they have the same beliefs and they have the same goals, and they want to identify themselves with your brand. So that is really powerful to include in your welcome flow. Another thing here that not many brands do, and they forget about this, they forget to educate their subscribers. So like I said, rather than selling the entire time in your welcome flow, brands that educate the subscribers throughout this flow see much, much better results. So linking blogs, short form content, or educating them about your products through the flow is a great way to do this. So you can see here, diving deeper with the brand, showing they're founded on high standards, 100% of ingredients are made traceable, and a clinically backed future. You can see they're educating. This one here, using infographics to educate, showing that the products are vegan, sugar-free, allergen-free, gluten-free, and showing some other benefits, so addressing hormonal imbalances. All of this is educational content that if you're sending it, you're much likely to get conversions, whether if your competitors are sending this educational content, your customers is going to start getting their information about the industry from your competitors, which is going to position themselves as the authority, which is something you don't want to do. So you want to be the authority of the industry, and that comes down to content and education and how well you can teach your customers about your products and also the industry itself. Super important. Next is the offer is stated in every email. So although you don't want to just only sell, you still need to give them the option to buy, because you never know when someone will be ready to buy. So having the offer reminded in every email will increase the number of conversions you get throughout the flow. So you can see throughout these emails, reminding them of that free gift or reminding them of that 25% off. You need to do this in every welcome flow. It is a core component at a high converting flow. Using urgency is a tactic to use at the final stages of your welcome flow. So this is going to be a great way to convert subscribers who are on the edge about buying your products. So here you can use timers to really increase the effectiveness. Here's some examples. Last call, almost gone, ending soon, hold the phone. So make sure you leverage your urgency. It's another really good psychological trigger to use in this welcome flow. It's another core component that you need to leverage. Okay, now we've talked about all the mistakes brands make, the characteristics of a high converting welcome flow. Let's walk through some potential frameworks you can use for your welcome flow. And I'm going to give you some alternatives as well, because it's very important that you build a flow that's custom to your brand and you're not following any template that someone gives you. So important that you note that the flow structures below is just a guide and you should really tailor it to your brand's needs, because not every brand will need to send the same type of content to convert subscribers. For example, if you have a one product store, you won't need a bestsellers email because there's one product, right? And brands that have unique inventions or unique features might need an email explaining the science behind how the product works. So I want you to use this as a structure for a starting template. And then you can swap and change the email types as needed, but really take note of the flow length and the structure of the flow. So here is the 8 email flow framework that we recommend implementing based on your brand type. So you can see flow length 12 to 14 days long, smart sending off and tracking on. The trigger subscribes to a list, and the flow filter is a placed 0 orders during the flow. So you can see here, email 1 is a brand intro discount, email 2 brand story, email 3 bestsellers, email 4 us versus them, email 5 reviews in UGC, email 6 discount reminder, email 7 discount expiring, email 8 is a founder follow-up email. And then also we've got 6 alternate welcome flow topics that you can chop and change based on the type of brand you are. So you got how it works, the problem with X, so replace that with a myth or an industry, pain point, poking pain points, why choose us, the science behind, or we've gone viral. So lots of options to choose there. I'm going to give you recommendations based on the type of brand you are. So let's start and zoom out here with email 1, the introduction and discount. So why this email? Well, this is going to set the tone for the relationship with the new subscriber, often the first direct interaction with your brand. So you want to include a welcome to the new subscribers and thank them for signing up, brief introduction into the brand and why you're different, and include the welcome offer. So you want to send this instantly after they sign up to the email list. And some tips here, you want to keep it brief, show the discount above the fold, and put your unique spin of your brand onto it. So you can see here, we don't want to overload them with information because this is going to be your highest converting email here. So pretty much you just want, a welcome offer, shop now, some quick info about the product, and then restate the welcome offer. So don't get too crazy with this. Keep it short, sharp, and simple, because the education is going to come in the following emails. We don't want to distract people from the welcome offer in this first email. So subject line examples here you can use. Let's move on to the second one. So number 2 is reviews in UGC. So you can see here some lovely review styled emails here. Look at these examples. And why you send this email? Well, it comes back to that equation. So trust and desire equal action. So this is going to build trust and credibility with your audience, as social proof is going to heavily influence decision making. What to include? 3 to 5 of your best reviews. Don't choose any reviews. Choose your best reviews that are specific to pain points and benefits about your product. And a quick introduction before the reviews. You want to send this 1 to 2 days after email number 1. And then some tips here is you test 3 to 5 reviews versus 1 very in-depth review. So an A/B test to run right off the bat here. You test 1 review versus 3 to 5 reviews. So for example, you would test a review that's a couple paragraphs long, going very in depth, telling a story. You test that against a different email that has 3 to 5 reviews like one of these here. Also want to keep it short and sharp, so not too much copy here, the leverage on the reviews, and then you want to repurpose UGC here. So if you have UGC photos of the customers submitting their review, you can include that as well. So there's some subject lines to use as well. Email 3 is the brand and founder story. So again, this is such an important email here, and it's important you get this right. So why this email? It creates a deeper emotional connection with your audience. So not only does it build trust because it makes the reader feel like they're part of the community, it also includes desire because they crave that connection that you're building. And if you have a cool story, people want to be part of that. So that creates that desire to be part of that brand and your products as well. Also, you want to explain the heart and soul of your brand. And you can do this by telling the story, explaining why you're unique, introducing the founders and the team. And you send this 1 to 2 days after email 2. So here's an example here. Howdy, I'm Ben, founder of Disco. I created Disco for these reasons here. Because you deserve quality skincare that works. Because you deserve the same quality of skincare that everyone else gets. Because a skincare routine is vital to looking and feeling your best. So if people feel that, they feel connection to that. And there's also, what he's done here is leverage a dermatologist here for further social proof. So they've done really well with this email here. They combine the community story and social proof and trust. Another example here, if I zoom out, is like I showed you with Monk Pack. This brand story email is so perfect here. So have a read through. If you're reading this, you probably had trouble finding snacks that are portable, nutrition, and actually taste good. For years, we did too. So here, what they do so well is they connect with you. They tell you your story. So if you're reading this, you probably have trouble. So they're highlighting a pain point, which is finding snacks that are portable, nutritious, and taste good. And then they're connecting and saying, that was us too. And then what we did is actually we turned that struggle into a solution, and we created that solution. Now you can be part of this solution and you can join us too. So they did that so well. And that's an amazing example. Here's another example from a jewelry brand. So you can see the founder, image of the founder, very casual image. You're not, in suits and ties. They're looking very casual, just like they're connected to you. They're, someone who has a small business and, it's for their friends, and it's since gone on to help thousands of people worldwide. So the connection there is very strong, and I love that welcome email as well. Let's talk about 3 tips here. So introduce important characters. So you can introduce team members, founders, pets, go into depth, and you can tell a good story. There's some subject lines there. Number 4 is a bestsellers email. So really important you are leveraging the bestsellers as well, because you're leveraging also social proof, and it helps guide purchasing decisions for new subscribers. So if you're saying, hey, check out these favorites, social proof, because it gives people a guide on what they should choose. And you're also, reminding them of the types of products you have. Your social proof, you're showing testimonials as well, is another great way. You can say, here are our top sellers, and have a testimonial underneath each top seller. You can send this 1 to 2 days after email 3. And some tips here is personalized recommendations. So if you collect subscriber preferences, that zero-party data that I touch on, then you can split this welcome email based on the type of preference they have, and then you can recommend bestsellers based on that. Also, you can include a founder's favorite. That's a great way to sort of switch it up. It's nice and fun. You'd be surprised. Founder favorite emails work really well. That EGC is something that's growing at the moment. And then you can include reviews of the products, which gives recommendations more power. So some examples here that work really well. Email 5, us versus them, right? So this one here, I love, another personal favorite. So this email clearly demonstrates why your brand stands out from the competition. What you want to include, you want to highlight key unique selling points. You want to position your brand as the better choice. You want to include social proof. So this email can be sent 1 to 2 days after the previous email. And some tips here is using infographics to demonstrate your advantages. Include social proof to back up claims, and use a fun and punchy tone. So this is your chance to separate yourself from competitors. So if you have a competitive niche and you have unique product differences, leverage those differences. You can see Dr. Squatch did that amazingly here. They're an all-natural soap brand, so they're talking about free of harsh chemicals and preservatives, unique scents, environmentally conscious, and nourishing oils and extracts. So that's their unique selling point. So they're leveraging that. Magic Spoon here is doing a chart showing the numbers and the stats about, protein, sugar, carbs, grain and gluten-free, all of that. So, amazingly done there. And then this one here is like a literal side-by-side comparison of this natural deodorant company versus other mainstream deodorants, and they do a really good job at explaining the differences here. So this is your chance to shine against your competitors, and it's such an important email to include. Next, email 6, discount reminder. So this is going to keep your offer top of mind, encouraging customers to take advantage of the deal before it expires. So a brief reminder of the discount and include why they should shop with you. So yeah, pretty much important to always remind your customers of the discount. So having a discount sole reminder email is great for keeping that discount top of mind. You want to show the discount above the fold. You want to restate USPs, and you want to keep it short and punchy. So subject lines here is also going to be talking about the discount. So again, capturing that attention, saying, hey, you still have this discount. It will expire soon, but there's still a chance to use it. Email 7 is your last chance discount email. So here we're leveraging FOMO to get subscribers to act and purchase. So have a final discount reminder, short piece of copy reminding them of the discount. So you can see examples here saying, Sweden 15% off, your discount's expiring, using reviews. This one here as well, almost gone, 20% off. So including reviews as well here is a great way to build trust and desire. 3 tips: leverage urgency, use a countdown timer, and add reviews to push FOMO. Subject lines, almost gone, going, your discount expires tonight. So that is the last chance email. And then what we'd like to do at email 8 is a plain text founder follow-up. So what this does is it captures those who may have missed that last chance. It's a gentle message from the founder, and we're explaining to them, we're giving them a final chance to claim. And what we want to do, we want to use curiosity here. So we want to ask why they didn't use the discount. Then we want to use urgency and say, hey, look, we know you missed the discount, but we want to give you 24 more hours to use this discount. I'm personally, reaching out. So you want to ask if they have any questions for clarification. So this email here is saying, I want to let you know you've got 24 hours left to use it. So, now's your best time to order and save. You've got less than 24 hours. Don't miss out. Here's your last chance. So again, message from the founder. You didn't use your welcome discount. Anything we can do to help. It's more so just leveraging, a helping hand for your customers here that didn't purchase, and just finding out why they didn't purchase. So now let's move on to some other welcome ideas you can use. So if some of those emails didn't really resonate with your brand and maybe weren't suitable, here's some alternatives. So how it works, the science. So here we're talking about some unique mechanisms about your brand. So if your brand is unique to the space, it's a sort of a new invention, you really want to talk about like how it works and show the product in use, show infographics explaining the actual mechanism behind how the product works. Use lots of pictures, testimonials to back up the concept. Go in depth, use infographics to assist with the understanding of the concepts, highlights and pain points. Next here, you got meet the team. So similar to the brand founder, but meet the team also is a great email to use. So you can see this email, they've done amazing here. They say meet the team and their top picks. So they include best sellers or top sellers for each person, recommending. Again, showing EJC here is a great way to connect and show your brand consists of actual people. You're not just some corporate brand that doesn't care about their people. So again, faces behind, stylish hound, very nice photos with dogs as well, creating that connection because this is a pet brand here. So it's a really good email to add if your brand sort of has that content to use. Option 3 here, we've gone viral on platforms. So TikTok's going crazy over this video. Watch the viral video now. So if your brand has gone viral on a platform, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, you want to leverage that virality and use that in your email. So if you use virality marketing, leverage that in your welcome flow as well. Feature top videos, a story on how we are going viral. You can use a phone GIF to drive click rates, a brief description of why they're so viral, and add some reviews here. So subject lines, we've gone viral on TikTok. TikTok's going crazy, 3.4 million views and counting. Great options there. Another option here is going the truth about X. So replace X with a myth or an industry misconception. So you can say here, this one is like the invisible danger flowing from your taps. This is a water filter company, and it actually links to a blog here where they can go further into depth about the truth about tap water and why it's so bad. Here's sniffing out the truth about natural deodorant, talking about some misconceptions people have about natural deodorant. So a really good email here if there are some common myths or misconceptions in your industry. Option 5 is poking a pain point. So again, this one is so good because it creates that desire here. So here's an example of hostage tape here. So if you ever wondered what your brain looks like after pulling an all-nighter, we've got you covered. Infographic of what the changes in the brain if you get a bad night's sleep. So you say, anger and mood swings, impaired judgment, memory loss, hallucinations, loss and problem-solving skills. That is a sleep-deprived brain. And what that does, it creates desire for the product because they're saying these are all the pain points that you will experience if you don't use our product, creating that desire. And then what they do is they, position their product as the solution. So perfectly done with this email. Another one here is oily skin, which is a pain point. We've got you covered. Then talking about, some oily skin, digging that pain point, agitating it. So we have a copywriting section talking about how to use the PAS framework, which is pain, agitation, solution. This brand here has done it really well. So they go pain, they agitate the pain, and then the solution here is their product. So using this on the welcome flow is so important, and it's really powerful. Last option here is why choose us. So again, just saying why choose us, a little bit similar to the us versus them, except you're more talking about you guys rather than competitors. So again, if you have some unique selling points, you can leverage this email. Works really well. Awesome. So now we've covered the welcome flow, the optimal welcome flow, and the content to include, the structure of the welcome flow. Now, most brands leave it at that. Most agencies leave it at that too. They set it up once and they forget about it. They leave it for months on end. But really, once you create that welcome flow, that is your first version, and the worst your welcome flow will ever be, because what we want to do is now we want to use data and we want to leverage information to level up this welcome flow over time. So here are a few ways you can level up your welcome flow to maximize conversion. So number one is updating your flow every month. So you should update your flow regularly so it features new products you've released or any changes to your brand. You should also update your flow when you run big site-wide sales, so your subscribers aren't getting two different promotions at once. So come Black Friday, you need a Black Friday version of your welcome flow showing the Black Friday offers. If you have new products, you're including new products and adding that to the welcome flow. So your welcome flow is in line with your actual campaigns going out throughout your whole marketing channel. So you don't want two different offers at once. If you have a big site-wide sale, make sure it's congruent with the welcome flow as well. Next here, you can tailor flow paths to customer interests and traits. So if your brand has multiple SKUs and different product categories, you can then actually tailor your flow path to specific subscriber interests and traits. So things like gender, product category interest, and age are all factors you could consider when tailoring flow paths. So the key here is to collect subscriber info, aka zero-party data, in your email pop-up, which means you can then get information right away and send them down different flow paths. So here's an example here of tailoring a welcome flow path depending on the customer interests. Now, this is a very controversial topic. A lot of brands either don't do any personalization or they go overboard. I think there's a happy medium here. So if your brand doesn't get much traffic through your website pop-up and you're not getting many subscribers through your list, stick to the one core welcome flow. The reason why is because you can create the most amazing 30 different tailored paths, but if there's no traffic going through those paths, you're not going to get any conclusive data and you're not going to be able to optimize. Whereas if you focused on the one welcome flow and you got lots of traffic through there, you get lots of feedback and data about the conversion of that welcome flow, and then you can continually optimize and perfect that. So if your brand has thousands and thousands of people going through your welcome flow, you're up to 8 figures a year in terms of revenue, I would suggest tailoring and splitting your welcome flow because you have enough traffic and you probably have enough capital and resources to allocate to building out a more complex welcome flow. But if you are still starting out and you're under sort of 8 figures a year, focus on that one core welcome flow and perfect that, because the 80-20 rule is going to apply, whereas 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of the actions. So little caveat here, and there's a little bit of controversy, but my recommendation is focus on the one welcome flow unless you're at a stage where you can fully get enough traffic through multiple different welcome flows and you have the resources to really optimize it. Another one here is resending email 1 to non-openers. So your first welcome email is going to be the highest converting email in your entire email marketing channel. However, some people get distracted and for whatever reason, they forget to open it. So you can actually resend it to non-openers the very next day in order to collect lost sales. So here's how you do it. Duplicate the email, add a conditional split with the condition has opened welcome email 0 times since starting the flow. Set a time delay to wait 1 day, change the subject line and set it to live. So that's what it looks like inside of your Klaviyo account. You can see they resend it to anyone who didn't open. You can see you get extra sales from that. So you can see, although they might have missed that first email, that second one, it drives some sales. It's a good way to sort of collect some extra sales in case people forget that welcome email. Next one here is like pretty much the most important factor of perfecting a welcome flow, and that is test, test, test. So you will not get your welcome flow perfect the first time. Yes, you plan and strategize your welcome flow to really build out one that you think is going to convert well, but you don't actually know until you get traffic and data from this welcome flow. So you need to constantly A/B test to find out which content, copy, and flow structure works best. So the 4 highest leverage A/B tests to perform in your welcome flow is going to be the flow order, the email content. So this is testing pain points against each other, testing benefits, testing reviews versus products or products versus categories, time delays, and plain text versus design. Let's jump in. So flow order, surprisingly, the order of your emails can actually play a difference in driving sales. So test having the expiring discount reminder at email 4 instead of email 8 and see if that makes a difference. So that's a test you can perform right away. Go email 4, have a discount reminder there, like the expiring discount. See if that sort of drives a little bit more sales than having it at email 8. Good test to run. A/B test your email content. So inside the emails, test having reviews versus product descriptions. Also test showing singular products versus entire categories. So whatever the click and place order rate is higher will help you know what content subscribers need to see to convert. So here you can see we're testing reviews of the product versus product information, right? So that's like, is the trust a bigger factor or is it education about the product a bigger factor in conversion? So it's important you find that data out in your welcome flow. Another one I love testing is testing pain point emails against each other. So if you're a skincare brand, maybe you're testing acne versus like gut health. Maybe that's like a test you run depending on your 2 biggest pain points. Test an email solely on pain point 1 versus pain point 2. Then you'll find out what the bigger pain point is. And that is so valuable. You can find that data out and then repurpose that in your marketing across, your ads, your organic, because that's going to dictate, okay, well, maybe, they prefer acne pain points and maybe that gets a bigger reaction. So in your marketing and your ads, you can repurpose, sort of acne based marketing rather than another pain point they have like eczema or something like that. So it's really important you test that sort of data in this welcome flow because over time you'll begin to sort of fine tune and really come to a conclusion on what sort of content your subscribers need to see to convert. Also testing time delays. So your time delays are a great lever to test. You can test, 1 day splits versus 2 day splits. So you can test 3 day to 4 day splits to see how it performs. I would stick to email content, flow order, and those sort of tests over time delays. But if you have the time and the resources, you can include time delay tests. Also test plain text versus design. Now this is really important here. So brand story email is a great email to run this test. You'll be surprised by the results. Test the plain text discount reminder versus design reminder as well. Really important test to run because you don't know sort of, do your subscribers like plain text, more personal field content, or do they like designed content better? So run these tests in your welcome flow. It's going to be really important to see what data works best. So that is the whole welcome flow guide. Now, recommend watching this a few times over because I went over lots of content. This was a long video and really important you map out the journey of your welcome flow. And out of all the videos I make in this course, this will be the most important one. So make sure you come back to this and keep watching it time and time again because you'll get more information from it as well. I also have the welcome flow document down below. So download that. And then you can use that when you're building your welcome flow to make sure you're ticking all the boxes when you are perfecting this welcome flow. So good luck with your welcome flow. And if you have questions, you can send me the welcome flow. I'll be more than happy to review your welcome flows. just send me an email. You can give me access and I can jump in and have a look at the welcome flow you built out, and I can provide recommendations. Or you can just send me the email images as well to my email. Or in this Skool group, you can post the welcome flow and you can get feedback live on it. If you're going to do that with this welcome flow, because it's so important. You're optimizing this welcome flow over the time. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.